Going to the zoo with your family offers a unique opportunity to experience rare and beautiful animals up close. While zoos can be enjoyable, not all of them are managed in the way they should be. One zoo in Pennsylvania is a terrible example of this. This roadside zoo was meant to be a source of fun and entertainment for people in the area, but in reality, it was more like an animal prison. For bears, Marsha, Fifi, Bruno, and Pocahontas spent their entire lives in this zoo, and their story is now finally being shared. As a major attraction of the dingy roadside zoo, these 4 bears were prominently displayed in rusty cages. In addition to the cramped living conditions, there was no shade, shelter, or water for swimming or cooling off. A closer look revealed that the bears only had a rickety doghouse for protection at night. They were also kept from hibernating, disrupting their natural cycle so they could continue to entertain zoo visitors. When the bears weren't confined to their cages, they were forced to participate in cruel circus acts. Trainers would place a mask around their faces and a rope around their necks, then bring them out to perform routines. By the time animal rights organization PETA discovered the bears, they had developed severe health problems. They spent their days pacing and shaking in their cages, signs of deep distress. Thankfully, PETA volunteers who had handled similar cases before knew exactly what to do. After rounding up the bears, they transported them to a wild animal sanctuary in Colorado. It was a long 24-hour journey, but the bears finally arrived, and for the first time in their lives, they were freed from their cages and allowed to roam. It was a moment few could forget. Sadly, many people still believe it's acceptable to keep animals in such poor living conditions. But for these bears, this was their first taste of freedom. Over time, more people began to fight against animal captivity. For example, a 2011 incident in Zanesville, Ohio, led to the creation of the Dangerous Wild Animal Act, which increased regulations on the types of wild animals people in Ohio could own. The law was not meant to punish the animals but to protect them. Recently, this law forced Stump Hill Farm, which claimed to be a rescue, to surrender 9 bears to authorities. The farm was accused of breeding exotic animals, which went against the mission of a rescue organization. These bears, a mix of black and grizzly, were in poor health, some malnourished and others extremely overweight. But the one thing they all had in common was that they were kept in cages for their entire lives. After their rescue, the bears were placed in temporary state-run facilities before being transferred to permanent care. But the staff soon discovered that 2 of the bears, Molly and Ursula, were pregnant. Before long, there were 13 bears instead of 9. PETA stepped in once again and transported all 13 bears to the same wild animal sanctuary in Colorado where the Pennsylvania bears had been relocated. The bears took some time to warm up to their new living space, but the staff was prepared to manage their anxiety. Initially, they were given an optional cage-safe space for comfort, but with proper care, the bears began to explore the sanctuary's vast grounds. It was like nothing they had ever experienced before. Bears are highly adaptable animals, so it's no surprise they adjusted quickly. The staff was in no rush to push them outdoors but gave them all the time they needed. Thankfully, Molly and Ursula, the 2 new mother bears, were allowed to keep their cubs. In captivity, they would have been forced to give them up, but in Colorado, they stayed together as a family.